Okay. Coach Galvin, thank you for meeting with me today. I appreciate you also partnering up with me on this project that we're having for my class. Me and you sat down, a couple weeks ago, and we kind of talked, and you filled out a survey for me. Kind of briefly tell me about the survey that you filled out, the concerns you had in your class, and specifically, I think we talked about your second period class that has 14 students in it. Kind of, if you can, just kind of let's refresh ourselves on your concerns in that class.
All right, Coach Fall, I have such a wide variety of students in that class. I have 2 kids that are really, and should be in an upper level class, and they chose to stay in this class. So they're kind of get through with their work and ready for something else. And I have normal 9th graders that are 2-level kids that should be in the class. And then I have some 10th graders that are repeaters and are taking this class for the second time. And some of those are really working hard to pass and to pursue a degree, a diploma. And then there's a couple in there that they just really, school's just not for them. They just don't want to be here. So it's kind of hard to do my lessons with so many variety of kids in my class. So that's what we talked about, doing differentiation,
Yes,
trying
ma'am.
to work on that.
Yes, ma'am. I think, we kind of got together and talked through it, and like you said, came up with the idea of incorporating some more differentiated learning strategies. You're one of the better teachers here. You've been recognized for it, so it's always good to see a teacher that wants to keep learning. I think specifically our goal was to implement learning strategies. I think you have 4 kids in that class out of 14 below a 70, and we said that we wanted to get 3 of those above a 70 before the 9 weeks is over. So we were going to kind of incorporate some new differentiated instruction, and when I came into your classroom, I think you were it's a 90-minute block. I came in probably about 15 minutes after it started. I got to see briefly some opening statements with your opening, which I thought was very good. Kind of take me through your normal day in the classroom. Was that pretty normal what I saw that day?
I usually start out with a warm-up, some problems that we've already done previous lessons, just to keep them, up to date so they don't forget things. And then we'll go over if they have any questions about the warm-up. And then I kind of introduce the lesson, and we'll go through notes. Sometimes we do it as a whole class, and sometimes I'll let them get in groups, and we'll do that. And then we'll do like practice problems. I'll let them come up to the board for whatever that lesson is about. And that way, a lot of the kids don't like to come to the board, and I would say, no, come to the board and we'll work through it together. And at least they're up there, and then that way it shows me that they are trying, or I can see where their problems, they're running into their problems and stuff like that. And then we usually do some practice problems together, and then I usually give them some homework. Not a lot of homework, but some.
Yeah. When I came in, you're already using a lot of differentiated strategies. The day I came in, I observed you had students in pairs, and like you said, they were going up to the board, and you were working through problems with me. Tell me about how you pair them up. I noticed that day you were working just one student with another. It was just pairs. Tell me a little bit about your groups and how you do that in your class.
With that class, I usually pair those 2 that are really high together, so that they can work at their own pace, and I don't hold them back from the other kids in my class. And then I try to put a 9th grader with one of my repeaters, and so that they can help each other. Sometimes I'll put a couple of the normal 9th grade 2-level kids together, and then sometimes I'll put the 10th graders together because they're a little bit lower. So it just depends on what we're working on.
Right. So it's the goal of the lesson that day, and you kind of decide how you're going to match them up. And you do use other large groups instead of just pairs, like
Oh
I saw
yeah.
right there.
Mhm.
And that's all before push pause.